Happy December 10th, 2024. I am wearing a sweater even though it is 60-something degrees out in North Carolina. The reason I'm doing this is because there's a stain on my shirt. I didn't like how I was looking, so instead of me changing, because I had everything all set up, I decided to just grab the hoodie behind me and wear that. So, question asked and answered. The original video I made was going to be way too long. Part 1 is already out, and when I was done editing that, it came to a thing around 14 minutes. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. The quick synopsis of it is there were a lot of things that Second Dinner has been doing that some of their actions that are coming up don't really make a lot of sense. It all started with this in 2023 with the Century Bundle. To me, is when the downhill really started to go. I think the precipice of it, or where people hit a breaking point, is the announcement of the series drop that happened today. The one thing I found very disturbing is originally data mined, Hitmonkey was supposed to be in the Spotlight caches next week. However, it is revealed from their Marvel Rivals video that instead it's going to be Daken. The issue with that is if you look at the data mining for Dark Avengers, Daken is going to have a variant that will be in the Season Pass. The only cards that have had variants in Season Pass are Series 1, 2, and 3 cards, never a Series 4 card, which is what Daken is right now. So it seems like Second Dinner replaced a Spotlight variant card with a card they know they're going to be doing a series drop to Series 3 next month. I wanted to comment on what Alex and Cozy were talking about their huge discontent about what happened with the series drop. First, what they're saying, and I do believe them with this, was that they haven't really heard from Second Dinner in a while. They are saying that they had no idea about this series drop, which I thought maybe creators like them did have. It does seem, though, that there has been a pretty big lack of communication and transparency between Second Dinner and a lot of these larger content creators, which is causing a lot of distrust in the community. And it also is showing that maybe the reason why they don't want to talk or be as open with the things that they are planning is either the investors are saying, no, you can't do this, or they just know that it's so bad, they would rather just not give these people the early bad news and just let everyone get the bad news together. That is quite a long introduction and synopsis on one. I'm going to be trying to respond to what they're talking about here. Now, this is almost 20 minutes long. I will be doing some editing, and this is going to be playing on 1.35% speed increase, just so we can get through it faster. Let's throw the headphones on and start.
However, is that, after we had finished recording our Snapchat last week, we released our episode on Monday. Shortly thereafter, they released the series drops. Like, the timing couldn't have been worse, honestly. Cozy and I did not know in advance of what those drops were going to be or how awful they were going to be. And even a week or two prior, we actually had done an episode about series drops on this very channel, in this very podcast. And we had joked about how, there's a ton of cards they should be dropping. They're probably going to drop absolute garbage. And we said that to each other and laughed. I don't know about you, Cozy. I thought to myself, with all the competition out there, with everything that's going on, Pokemon Pocket literally eating their lunch from the fridge every single day, they got to bring their A game. They most certainly did not bring their A game at all.
So, if there's anything I could say about Cozy, from my opinion, is he doesn't like to talk negatively about really anything. He seems to be just a very positive person, and something like this I think is making him very uncomfortable, which Alex has no issue doing. Alex will say all the bad things if he has to.
So we got quite a conversation to have here, Cozy, so I'll give you the floor here. What are your general thoughts on those series drops?
Yeah, so I was trying to find two things looking down while you're talking, so I do apologize. What I was looking for are two different quotes from developers, right? And so this was from Ben Brode. Was it 2 years ago when series drops were introduced? I'm sure a lot of people have seen this, but just it's important for context of our conversation. So 2 years ago, we have a lot to figure out with moving cards down a series, but we have time to figure that out. However, I will say that at some point, cards entering Series 5 and 4 need to equal cards being downgraded from Series 4 to 3, or else token shop cards will infinitely inflate, causing new players to have an insurmountable hill to climb. What this means is that if we add one new card a week to Series 5, you'll see one card go from Series 4 to 3 a week as well. On average, we might do this in batches. So even players who spend a single token, or who never spend a token, will eventually have the same pace of new cards just later. Now, before we comment on that, let me...
Currently, there's approximately 29 Series 4 cards and 70 Series 5 cards. So they can't just do 1-to-1. They need to do at least 2 Series 5 and 1 Series 4, or 3 Series 5 to 1 Series 4. Now, what they did today is that 3-to-1. 9 are coming down from 5 to 4, 3 are going down from 4 to 3. But it's still not keeping up with that 1 a week that Ben is saying that they should be doing in the future, which was 2 years ago.
Read the second one here. This is from our current community manager, Griffin, who states, series drops arrive December 10th. While these series drops will help many players along their journey, I don't know who that is. It's not intended to fix the core issues we are all feeling around card acquisition. The team remains focused on a little corporate-ish there, but team remains focused on a larger long-term solution. We're planning for an even bigger series drop in the first quarter of 2025, which is faster than our previous series drop schedule. Okay, great. Got through those two. I think those are good to have context because there's a lot to talk around that. And which one? Which one do you want to start with, Ben's or the other one?
It's funny because I actually did have Ben's clipped in my notes as well. And what that really showed me was that the team, when they designed this system, was aware of its limitations. We're aware of its flaws. And we're also aware of what they had to do to make this system fair in the long term. Where years down the line, this has not happened, as described by Ben. And what has resulted is not an insurmountable hill to climb, but a hill the size of Mount Everest. Like, this is such a massive hill to climb for new players that, like, they're not even going to want to start in the first place. And it bothers me from a sense that, like, this was a problem. You knew on the onset of designing this system that this was the problem scenario, and you never did anything to rectify it. You just allowed the problem to continue to basically just balloon over and over and over again, continuously kind of like dangling a little bit of a carrot in front of the audience, saying, hey, we're going to fix it, and then just not fixing it. That it's mind-blowing to me that we're years from that quote that you just read, Cozy, despite the fact that on the onset they knew that was the problem, and they chose not to correct it. I don't know why, because for me it seems like an incredibly obvious thing to have to fix.
At this point, it's
the water started to boil in late 2023, and it hit the boiling point when this series drop was announced. You saw just all the discontent and criticism from players, the online community, everyone who's vocal socially, really start to come out and be like second dinner, what the hell are you doing? This is ridiculous. Even though like new players don't directly affect me, like what's best for the new player isn't always going to be what's best for an experienced player or a veteran player. It doesn't matter, because if you don't have a system that's friendly for new players coming in, you're not going to be able to get more money coming into your game. That's a very bad business model. Yes, the longer somebody stays with the game, the more inclined they are to continue with it and spend more money with it, because they already have this huge time investment, money investment. And if they're playing it for a couple of years, it's because they really do like it. New players, you're going to be able to go and maybe get like $10, $20 out of them within the first like month or two if they really do enjoy the game. But if they're not enjoying the game enough within that first couple weeks, they will never get to this veteran status. So you won't have anybody replacing the veterans who have just played this game for too long. They need a break, or they want to just go do something else. They said, you know what? I had a great time. I had a great couple months, great couple years with you, Marvel Snap, but I'm moving on. It also doesn't allow for a very good system for people who take a 1 or 2 month break because they want to just break away from this, get a different change, and then say, you know what? I actually did really like Marvel Snap. Let me come back and check out the new game mode or the new changes, whatever else is happening. And then they find out that all the cards that they missed out on for the past couple weeks or months are not easier to get at all, and they're at a huge disadvantage. And then it's going to make them not want to come back to the game or continue coming back to the game.
So let's do something, and then let's see how reactions come from it, and then we'll change, right? So, like, we've seen that with some of the stuff, I guess, with, like, the split. I want to simplify this, guys. I play this game. I make content on it, but I play it for fun. It's a mobile game. It's a mobile game, okay? That's why it's like meta this, meta. I don't care. It's a game that I'm picking up for fun, and when you don't get the new cards, it's not fun. Like, it's just not rocket science, and they were making a lot of money at the start as the core of the game's first build, and they needed ways to continue to make that much, and they have chosen the wrong path time and time. And listen, they're withholding fun. They're not having cards go down. It's puzzling. To me, there's no other way around it. There's no small team excuse. There's no, listen, this could hold me back from being in a future Conquerors. That would be a shame, because I have to speak when we have spoken. It's just not even much left to say. They've got to drop cards, way more cards. We're so disappointed with the cards that dropped. I think everybody can say that, right? I think at this point we can all say that. It's not scorched earth, guys. It's not like do what you want to. If you don't like the game, like just stop playing it. But for those that love the game, like us too and many others, we want the game to be great. And so seeing a series drop like the last one, it's just I'm not even shocked. I was a little more shocked than I usually would because I thought, with A, competition, but B, just given the state of how many cards have entered the game versus how many have dropped, it's something they've got to fix. And so it's like, I hate that why did we wait till the boiling point? Why was that the goal? I just don't understand some of the key decision makers over there choosing that route, and it's, listen, when Spotlights came out, we all got on this call. We got to see Spotlights give our feedback on how the Spotlight system would work, our worries about it, what we thought about it.
Before he gets into this next part, just a comment on what he just said. Second Dinner knew about what the problem was. Ben Brode had the foresight about this 2 years ago, and he's still, from what we know, very much in charge of this company. And they're making these very, very poor decisions to withhold fun. Let's get into the next part about what he's saying.
Some of the key decision makers over there choosing that route, and it's, listen, when Spotlights came out, we all got on this call. We got to see Spotlights give our feedback on how the Spotlight system would work, our worries about it, what we thought about it. We gave good rapport to it because of, at the time, when it came out, what it was solving. I've never been on another call. I've never been invited to another call, ever. I know other people that have been invited. I hate to speak for them, but I know Regis has tweeted the same. Like, there's just communication isn't there. I don't know what else to do or say at that point.
That is a very long time to not talk to anybody, creators, about this. Now, he's saying that there are some that might have been on calls. The fact that he hasn't been on calls is crazy to me. Him and Dexter are probably the top two Marvel Snap content creators. But when they went from being very open and having great communication with the player base to not talking to them really or be on a call for months and months and months at a time, that's just mind-boggling.
Man, I'm exhausted. Guys, drop cards, make the game more playable, make it more fun. There's a lot of cool. Glenn, you kick ass, man. Love balance in this game. I think the balance is so much fun, or the cards are so much fun. They're so unique. The game has such a good charm about it. The charm of Marvel Snap is what keeps me playing it. But yeah, we can't play the game when we don't have cards. And if I'm creating content and I'm signed to buy cards and I'm having to explain to my wife I'm spending X amount to get cards, like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And talking about poor communication, I think there's another core thing that needs to be mentioned. There's often this, like, you mentioned it before when you were reading the prior statement, like, there's a lot of corporate speak, and I think it's like, it kind of reads insulting sometimes. Like, that's the way I take it. There's been so many times where, like, they've said, oh, we hear you, or we're listening to you and stuff like that. However, the community as a whole should not feel like they have to resort to things like review bombing in order for their opinion to be taken seriously.
Exactly. And a lot of the corporate speak, again, Second Dinner has had several rounds of investments. Publicly, I think they've had 2 rounds of investments. And when you get these investors, it's not just like, oh, hey, we're going to give you $50 million and we expect to get $100 million out of you. There are a lot of conditions that can be associated with these types of investing. Sometimes part of a contract might be, we will invest X amount of millions of dollars into your company. In return, this is the return on investment that we are looking for. And we want to have you guys create a board of directors, and we want to have this amount of say in your company. I don't know how much control Second Dinner has lost when they have gone through these rounds of investing, but over this last year, it does seem like they have lost quite a bit of control and are subject to the will of the investors.
Resort to things like review bombing in order for their opinion to be taken seriously. The Marvel Snap community has been, like, stating for the longest time that these are significant pain points. And if it doesn't come up at a round table like 2 years ago saying, like, hey, we got to fix this because this is a significant problem for our game, like, the fact that review bombing happened, that to me really, really, really hurt me. Because when that happens, like, it takes years for games to correct that reputational damage. It takes years for a game to, like, turn the corner from that type of like, review bombing, like, stuff. And, like, you think that's not going to impact new players when they look at a game and it goes from a 4.5 rating on the Google Play Store to a 3.2, or when there's 70,000 negative reviews on Steam saying the exact same thing over and over again? Like that to me, especially as like someone who makes content for this game, loves the game. I'm getting messages on my videos saying like, "Hey Alex, like love the content, but like I can't play Snap anymore. Like I just can't." When people are not playing Snap anymore, not because they don't love the gameplay or the game, because they ethically think that they cannot continue playing the game and supporting the way these systems functions, it's so heartbreaking, man. Like I wasn't even mad when this happened. I was like so disappointed that it.
Marvel Snap is a game that is very hard for me to give up. Obviously, it's not because I am making a lot of money with this game. I am losing money. My channel is too small to really get any type of revenue. So it's not like I need to play this game to keep up a standard of living. I met my wife through video games. We both played Overwatch through mutual friends. We got into groups together and we play a lot of games together. I was really into Marvel Snap. She wanted to share that type of experience with me behind my back in secret shadows. She downloaded the game and got up to rank 50 within the first month of her playing. No, and she doesn't like card games. She's never really played a card game before. So ever since Overwatch, we haven't had a real video game connection like we've had with Overwatch, and now we have Marvel Snap. Now we have Marvel Rivals, but she wouldn't be that into Marvel Rivals if it wasn't for Marvel Snap. So I really enjoy playing this game with my wife. She's really having a great time playing it. It's a bonding type of video game, and it's hard for me to let go of this game because of her. If you are somebody who has stopped playing Marvel Snap, uninstalled Marvel Snap, because the way that they've been handling the game has been bad, and morally you can't continue to support a company that used to be so good and the decisions that they've been making, then good for you. Not being sarcastic about that at all. We have to vote with our wallets and our interactions. So while I can't stop playing this game because it means a lot to me and my wife, I really hope that Second Dinner hears the voices of the people that Alex are talking about and really has some serious changes in 2025.
Came to this point. It actually breaks my heart that like these situations keep happening and we keep being forced to have these difficult conversations that like should never get to this point. Like these should have been fixed a year and a half ago. Like the quote you read today illustrated that they knew this was a problem from the onset and they chose not to correct it. And perhaps we're not privy to all the information. We're not privy to what, private equity investors are into, or, green lines not going high enough. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day,
Whatever the reasons are that these are happening, we don't need to be privy to the reasons why. We don't need to understand what the secret charts are, what the secret calls are. It would be great if we knew everything, but that doesn't change the fact that the players, that we're still the ones suffering through all of this and trying to push through and have faith in a system, in a gaming company where their decisions are kind of showing that they do not share the same faith in us.
Yep. We have so much fun with the game, guys. We keep the podcast usually really light and fun. But why? How can we? With that, how do we not? And the sad fact is, other than Glenn, and I'll shout. And the guys, the reason I shout out Glenn is because Glenn will talk to me. Hey, respected the episode today. Loved your takes here. Never gotten that from anyone else. So I'm kind of speaking to the void, right? Like there's just nothing. So speaking about it, I think it's important to you guys and our thoughts on it because you guys listen to us every Monday. We love that. We appreciate that. It pains me though to see the hurt across the board. The game in the digital card space has won, and it's going to win. I'm sorry, Snap's not going anywhere. If No Man's Sky can do it, Snap can do it, right?
That's also just a really good thing to understand is there are games that have just been absolutely terrible. No Man's Sky, Watch Dogs, almost any Bethesda game, Cyberpunk, where they came out atrociously. Just bugged, mess, unplayable, and they're still able to get awards from the developers really putting a lot of time and effort to wanting to make a better game.
But yeah, it's what a damn shame it is that we're going into the holiday season. Second Dinner has written, if you look at their job applications, literally that you get 2 weeks off during the holidays or 3 weeks. I don't even remember what it was, but like time's gonna be taken off. So you're effectively gonna have a really rough December. Outside of the collaboration season, which is so funny. It takes Marvel Rivals and this hype game collaborating with Snap to have some liftoff. But then we have to wait till January. And so, hey, Griffin, I'm glad that you see, all you guys at the dev team see the, see the flaws. And January, you guys have the chance to drop a lot of cards and do it right. I think we said drop every card one series. Man, I don't know if that would be enough, right? But make it obvious. No matter what, you're gonna have the internet trolls and drama, and I that's why we don't talk about negativity a lot. Like, Twitter represents 1%, and I just don't care about people that cry. But when it's something that's just like very obvious and evident, right? Yeah, it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing, and make the game fun. Make the game fun by giving people more cards, right? You guys have made a lot of money. Make money through variants, yep, but not every game mode, everything, every feature, not everything has to be about your bottom line. It'll come if the game, continues to be fun. So, yeah, it's a bummer, but I still have fun with the game. It's not that, but again, I think I explained it last week. I'm buying the cards, so I'm having fun, right? So, make it fun for everybody, make it enjoyable, and get rid of that.
Back in the 90s, Blizzard had a philosophy that if you make great games, the money will follow. And that's the main thing that they put all their focus in. It wasn't, how much is this game going to take to make? What's the cost of this? It's, if we make this game be phenomenal, the best game it could be, then we will make money off of it. But we have to make the game fun and great and playable. That is the main focus. And through that, they became one of the biggest, most profitable, largest, most respected video game developers in the entire world. They got so many awards, and just everybody wanted to work for Blizzard. Everybody wanted to work for Blizzard. And then everything happened with Vivendi, whatever the company was before that as well, where Vivendi bought them in the gaming division, which was weird. And then Activision happened, and you saw what happened when too much corporate focus was involved with making games. Instead of make a great game and money will follow, it's make more games and we'll make money off of them and do more money. They put profits over players. And that's what Second Dinner seems to be on the verge of. And they need to stop and go back to the roots of making a great game, and the money will follow from there.
That hill. And I think also maybe address some, not just that quote from Ben. I think there's a lot of past quotes on a lot of past things. You can't buy tokens. There's a lot of things that have been said, and then they just do it, and then we all are like, oh, cool, that works, I guess. But I think just address them. Have an open Q&A. Have an open dev talk. Have an open Discord call with the creators if you want a smaller size. I think they have a server or something for people that they're going in for feedback or something. I don't think it was the creators, but just everybody. I don't know how that works. Yeah, and I'll say it. I open you guys, devs, if you're listening. I open my DMs on Discord are wide open, as are Alex's too. I think to talk about this. Would love to.
My DMs are open too. You can find me as Calthun on the Marvel Snap Discord server. So developers, come on in. I'm a high value item.
And that's not an opportunity that I've ever been given, right? And this is our platform to try to kind of advocate for positive change, and we're trying our best to do that. And I don't want to harp on things, but at the same time, it's like if you think about the issues with the amount of cards entering Series 5, they even made the problem worse. We used to have it so the first week of the season was only the season pass, and then they added an additional card in there. So they made that decision to add an additional card into Series 5 every single month. That just kind of pushed people further and further out, even just buying the season pass isn't enough, right? You have the changes to the way the collector's tokens work and the collector's reserves work. I have over 900 of them at this point. They're not really worth anything at all. It's not worth the time. For Cozy, I'll pay you to open my tokens, to open my crates. I don't know what else to do. Gold bundles are basically just gone, right? We used to have amazing gold bundles with amazing value, and those are just gone. So there's all these small pain points that add up to just this whole method of playing with the card. It's a card game where playing with the cards is the hardest part.
He's saying a lot of things that I've said before, and I completely agree with him. That gold bundles used to be phenomenal. This Shadow King bundle that came out last week, it was so good. And the reason it was so good is because almost every other gold bundle this year has been absolute trash. There was no value in any one of them except for the Shadow King one. Getting cards is definitely the hardest part about this game. And that's what it shouldn't be that.
Getting your hands on the actual cards is the hardest part. And so, I don't know. I just legitimately hope they fix it. I'm past being mad. I'm actually sad about it, man.
I don't have anything else to say on it. I'm not going to talk about this in future weeks, guys. We'll talk about it in January when they address it. I'm not going to harp on it, and it's not because I don't care. It's just okay, what are we going to do? But say our initial take, and we've said it multiple times now. I think we've had multiple weeks with it. But yeah, that's all I have to say on the subject. Just the disappointment as a full day.
So the sun is setting, which means it's about time for me to stop recording, so I'm going to stop this video. But like, what else can we really say about this? We really do have to wait for January. They do have a big vacation. Kind of not a great spot to take a vacation. It seems like they should have done a lot of the big things in November before, and not just like, hey, wait till after the holidays. But it's sad. You know, it's past the point of anger, and it's just sadness and disappointment in the game that you love. And it shouldn't be like this. There should be nothing like what they're talking about now ever on their podcast, at least this often. If they ever do talk about anything kind of poor and questioning the decisions and like, why did this happen? You know, it would be just like, why was this series dropped? Like, why did they include this card but not this card? How come doesn't this combo seem just like a little bit broken? Do you think they overcorrected a nerf or a buff? Like small little balance things, if anything. It shouldn't be this serious. It never should be this serious. A game that like this should be just fun and positive, and the amount of gripes that people would have with this should be minimal at best. Have a great day, guys. Please let me know all your thoughts and feelings about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you made it to the end. Criminy. I really appreciate you guys a lot. Sincerely, bottom of my heart. We'll make it through this together. We'll see you next time. Sorry for how long this video is too. Appreciate it.